Welcome to Oregon Outdoors. I'm Mark Freeman. Now, I've always said everybody needs to have some kind of personal relationship with at least some of the food they eat. You know, whether you catch it, shoot it, or even just grow it. You know, you gotta be able to have a connection with some of the food so life isn't from the supermarket. Well, there's one other way we can do that too. It's called foraging. That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna spend a day seeing what the Oregon landscape can give us in terms of more traditional kind of edibles. First, we'll head to the high Cascade Mountains to hunt for the best fall delicacies the Pacific Northwest has to offer underfoot, chanterelle mushrooms. Then later, we're back to the Rogue Valley, Florida. Head out with a man and his sheep to forage for edible plants along the Bear Creek Greenway. And you know what? We're gonna cook and eat this stuff too. Western Oregon is loaded with high elevation national forest land that's just open for the personal scavenging of mushrooms. Now in the spring, it's about morels, and in the fall, chanterelles. So there's a few basic differences. Morels are really hard to find. They blend into the forest stuff so well that it takes really keen eye to find them, even if they're growing in your own backyard. Now, chanterelles are the opposite. They're really big and they're real bright golden too. They stand out in the forest like a suntan dude at an albino convention. Chanterelles are really fragrant. You can smell them yards and yards away. Well, it'd be this guy. He's like a truffle pig in camo. So you really can smell these things?
Oh yeah.
How far distance do you think you can smell them?
I think it's kind of like a rose garden. You know, when you have neighbors who have roses, you can kind of smell them in your yard at times, or in Medford. It can be a hemp grow. Yeah, right. So you know they're around, you know you can smell them. It's a very unique smell, especially if you spend some time with dozens of chanterelles in your sink and you're cleaning them. That smell wafts up at you, and it's very characteristic. I think it's starting to get a little mushroomy in here. I'm starting to smell a little bit of kind of an apricot odor, and I'll be darned, look at that sucker right there.
Look at that. Gosh, just a couple minutes in, we got our first one.
That's awesome. That's a pretty one too. It's small,
yeah,
but man, it's firm too. So I'm guessing that just popped up within the past day or two.
Probably because of that rain we had last weekend, right?
Yeah, last year we kind of suffered with the really dry conditions through October. And this year we've been really fortunate to get, oh my gosh, look at the size of that one there.
God, there should be a bunch in here.
There are, that one's huge there.
If you find one, you should find, there's one.
Yeah, now I can't.
That one's pretty dirty, but.
Yeah, now I can't step though. So.
You don't want to step on them.
That's right.
All right, well, let's take this one. Got my old knife, just cut down at the base, pull it off, leave that stem.
Aha, now, you know me.
Oh yeah.
I'm a freak. When it comes to cleaning these things for later on, I like to get all that forest duff off. So I carry one of my grandfather's old paintbrushes with me and try to get as much of this stuff off as we can. So when we get mushrooms a little bit later, none of the dirt will come off of this thing. And
Grandfather's paintbrush, huh?
yes, and grandfather's knife.
I got my grandfather's Coca-Cola knife when he drove a Coke truck in during the Depression. You got yours too?
I do. This old knife I got, I think 45 years ago now from my grandfather. I think it was 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Yeah, it's the good luck charm.
Yep, it's always worked for us.
You know what it's like, Mark? When you got a yellow lab and 7 tennis balls.
Well, you know, you can walk a lot of ways in the woods to find a spot like this.
This is
1, 2, 3, 4. There's a bad one.
5, 6, 7.
7,
8. Look
Ooh,
at that.
the size of that
God.
one.
Yeah, I think we did well.
Oh, this has got the prick. Oh, I just stabbed myself.
See, the prickers. I hate those things.
Mm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take this one here. This is just too darn pretty. I get so excited when I don't have to clean them. They're so fresh and white on the bottom side. There's no work involved in this. That is possibly the finest chanterelle I have ever picked in my life. Look at that thing.
That is nice.
Perfect.
It is a perfect specimen. Oh man, look at these 3. This just popped right out of the...
There's a ½ a pound one right there. Look at that beautiful, it's like got that goblet shape to it too, you know?
That's why they're called called after a French term meaning small cup or goblet. This is 2. Supposedly they have some sort of mild insecticide in them that's not bad for humans, but you almost never find any bugs in these things.
No, they're usually pretty clean. I saw one spider before, and he didn't get the ride home. He got taken out. Wow. Well, that was fun. Yep, one more.
Is that all? Nope, there's another one.
Kind of like morels, though. It's you find one, and often there's a bunch of other ones.
Oh, let's take a break for a second.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Not a bad haul for a first spot.
Now, let's take a peek at these, and you know me, I like to clean them as much as I can before I get them home into the sink.
So how long have you been coming to this patch?
I think it's probably pretty close to 8-10 years
10
now.
years?
We used to go to a different place, maybe a mile as the crow flies over that ridge. I haven't been in there in years. So we kind of just looked at a GPS map and decided, Google Earth or something, and we decided to come in here and try this, and boy, it's been great.
Yeah, it's always been a real good first spot for us, but I like that higher elevation one better.
Yeah, sometimes just changing a little bit of elevation or just changing the angle of whether it's a north slope, south slope, it make a huge difference in how many mushrooms are there.
What's the earliest you've gotten them?
I think looking back at pictures, it's the first week of October, and it was down a little lower than this. And then we've gotten them right up to, on dry years, right up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That one year, though, the best was when we were driving up to that one spot, and you could see them like 30 yards away, just boop, 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 boop. It must have been 15 we had to pick
right,
just before we could park the truck.
Right on the side of the road. It was great.
Well, let's go to that spot.
All right.
I'm geeked about that spot. I love that one.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
That's pretty good. You didn't moan over that one.
I know. I know.
Tricks ya. Look at that. Not too.
That's a good one.
That's a big boy, isn't it?
That is.
Holy cow. It's got to be 3 of them in there. Right? That's not just one.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Wow. There's one. Well, there we go.
Well, I'm good enough for today.
Yeah.
Go home and cook them. I'm getting kind of hungry. The 2 things that freak people out about mushrooms is, are you going to get the wrong ones? And we clearly demonstrated that chanterelles are the perfect ones to do that with because they're so easy to tell from anything else.
It's true.
How to clean them and how to prepare them, because the last thing you want to do is waste all that time bringing all this fancy fungi back home and ruining your dish. Simple stuff. All you need is a stove, skillet, and a knife.
And a knife, yes. And maybe a little salt and pepper and maybe something else to give them a little bit of extra flavor at the end.
All right, let's go for it.
I remember you getting this one. That was
Yeah.
the one that looked like the chalice,
Yeah,
right? So,
right.
That's a pretty deep pit in there, and we want to get the dirt out of there. And you can see how much just comes out, flies out. And because they're so smooth surface, they clean up pretty easily. So anything dark on the gill side now, I'll just take off. And I really don't see anything at all. Maybe just a tiny, tiny bit of dark meat there. But I like to take the knife and just go around the outside one time just to take off I'll call it the floppy edge there. It's a little bit, I like to have good firm mushroom meat. This is a little bit soft for me. Well, Mark, as you know, this is not going to be a low-calorie dish if I'm here. There's a little butter, and then there's a little more. Don't look.
My arteries think less of you now than ever before. After all the water comes out and then evaporates, is when they're pretty much done.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like it's got its own little alarm
Timer.
clock in it.
Yes.
Right?
Just because every cooking show I've ever seen says add salt and pepper.
This is an outdoor show. It's not a cooking show.
So what I like to do is create a little bit of fluid for them to live in. After this butter has, basically cooked down enough, I'll put a little bit of something in this pan to kind of help them rehydrate a little bit more and give them a little bit extra flavor. And I like putting in some sweet wine. And in this case, I've got a little bit of Marsala, so you won't have an alcohol flavor, but you'll just get all the goodness from that sweetness in the wine. Now imagine throwing these over a pork chop or a steak. Man, they're just absolutely delicious.
Oh, they smell like candy.
They really do.
Tell you, Brian, this is why we're here. That's why we live here.
Cheers, man.
At Oregon Outdoors this week, we've been talking about foraging up high in the mountains, but you can do it downtown. You can do it on the valley floor, and you can do it with this guy. Aaron Fletcher literally lives on what he can forage off the land. He spends his days collecting edible plants from places you might walk your dog. Sometimes he shares them with his sheep. When he's done foraging, he pulls his cart over and sets up camp. With a little sheep milk for protein and flavor, he cooks in a solar oven. Totally self-contained guy. So, Aaron, you're like the ultimate urban forager, right?
Yeah, I forage urban and rural areas. Not so much in the mountains anymore because I have this wagon. I was traveling with my pack ram, and that gave us the ability to go up inclines, and we'll have the ability to go up inclines once I train this new ram lamb back here that's going to be 500 pounds. I'll be able to pull up over mountain passes and stuff. I'll be able to have a lot more access to.
So what you got is you got your 5 sheep hooked up to your cart, and you're just kind of strolling around Talent looking for edibles that you can grab off public land or land where you have permission, right?
Yep, because Ashlyn kicked us out, so won't let us walk through. Ashlyn won't let us walk through, so we have to do it here in Talent and the rest of the Rogue Valley. Medford also won't let livestock walk through town.
I gotta tell you, it's hard to get kicked out of Ashland.
Right?
But you were able to do it, huh?
Yep, they didn't want our example walking through town for some strange reason. Even though they claim to be all about eco and all about inclusivity, it's rather strange.
But it's not you, it's the sheep.
Yeah. Oh, they banned my sheep from walking through town.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many different kinds of plants do you think you can find here in, say, an hour?
I don't know, probably dozens right now, with it being its depleted number because of the fire.
Uh-huh.
This is a good one though. This is a good one. This is what we're gonna base our meal on. This is called hoodie barley. This is a very efficient one to collect. Like I said, most wild edibles aren't palatable, or they take a lot of energy to process or to cook. This is one that is very quick and easy to collect, but is got a lot of calories. Most of these wild edibles, like I said, are just nutrient based. But when they have a lot of calories and they're easy to collect,
That's a winner.
Yeah, it's a winner for sure.
Winner barley dinner, huh?
Yeah. Wild sweet pea here. Little tender new growths. These are one of my favorites, honestly. These are way better than the sweet peas that end up growing on this, because they taste better and they're easier to collect. Sweet peas, you gotta wait until they pop themselves open, or you have to use your thumbnail and split them open and take the fresh peas out. This is mugwort right here. It's so strong that the only thing I've ever seen it used for culinarily, which was one of the best things that I've had, is it was used as a trifecta of herbs in dark chocolate. They used mugwort, lemon balm, and sage. It's honestly the best chocolate that I've ever had in my life. But mugwort itself, people don't usually use that for culinary purposes, but it is edible if you can figure out what you like to part with. Knotweed, I'll grab a couple of these leaves. It's really spicy. Usually it's really spicy.
So you really run the risk of burning more calories foraging than you get from
That's right, yeah.
the food.
This is actually this is a really subtle one. This is good. Oh, we got some wild broccoli here that is got the florets on them. And the way that I harvest them is I stick my fingers up through so you're not picking the individual ones off and wasting your energy again. The most efficient way to do it is raking, I guess, is the way I think of it. Going underneath it and raking. See how it's growing all like haywire like that? This is not a good specimen to show people because the leaves are also completely atypical. This is wild carrot. It's just that it's something is affecting it in the soil, like some kind of a something that is making it grow really weird.
So when did you make your cart?
I made it a year and a half ago. I've been living out of every 24/7 for a year and a half, and I love it. Needless to say, I love it because I came from living out of a pack boxes on my Ram and living on the ground.
And, and you're parking at a farm?
Yeah, I move around to farms and provide them with just a little bit of labor in exchange for sleeping on their property, and do a little bit more labor if they want to trade me some fresh produce. This is what I use to barter with people. with the farmers. This is actually, I've gotten more connections with farmers through this than anything, because not only farmers see it and talk to me, but people taking their pictures and then sharing it with people, and then it runs across a farmer, they share it with a farmer, and they're like, hell, I could use a free farmhand. Like, who's a free farmhand? Where that even exists? And then they call me. So you gotta stake out the Ram, because otherwise he'll be running the ewes around non-stop and trying to battle us. I'm gonna point it away from the sun until you're ready to stick the food tray in it, because that's the one way that you can break these. Their one weak spot is trying to put cool water or food into it when it's already warmed up. So I learned the hard way. This is the same hoodie barley that we collected, except like I said, the hoodie barley needs to be completely bone dry and rub it between your hands in order to knock off at least a minimal amount of chafe. There's still a lot of chafe on each individual grain, but I actually like that because it's fiber and it's healthy. There's vitamins in the actual sheath. So
you've been hanging out in Ashland Talent for what, a decade now?
Yeah.
You were a goat man for a while, weren't you?
Yeah. Sheep milk has 2,100 calories per half gallon, and goat milk only has 1,300, and it tastes a lot better.
Okay, so we foraged up plenty of edibles off the Rogue Valley's Bear Creek Greenway path. Now it's time to cook.
Yeah, I'm just going to put in what we foraged today. I'm not going to put any of the amaranth in, and not going to put any, I'm going to put my sheep's milk in there. Get the wild broccoli and the yarrow. Now we'll put in the greens. Put some sheep milk in there, and then the grains on the bottom will absorb the whey, and the cream will, the milk solids will separate and create cheese. So then we'll have, that should be a good portion of milk to grain and greens, so that there won't be any standing whey afterwards. Yeah, it's only losing essence through this little hole right here.
Wow.
So it really holds in a lot of the essence. These solar evacuator tubes are awesome.
Look at that.
Look at that. We got cheese. And just like I said, it absorbed all the liquid. There isn't any liquid running down. And like I said, there would be a little bit of air crisped greens on top. And then we got our grains underneath that'll be cooked. We'll turn this backwards.
Turn it off?
Yep, turn it off. The grains have absorbed the whey.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of whey right down there. This is all cheese.
Wow.
And I didn't even put any salt on this. Forgot to put some salt on it. Put some salt on this. I like to put the salt on beforehand because it really absorbs the salt and then helps bring out the flavor. But second best is putting it on afterwards, I guess.
Looks good.
Probably pretty hot.
Hot. It's hot.
Yeah. The cheese really holds on to the heat. Are the grains cooked yet?
That's good. Well, I can eat with you sometimes, but I couldn't eat with you every day, I tell you that.
Definitely acquired tastes.
All right. Thanks, man.